Today, we're talking about how you can replace your 9-to-5 income with the cash flows you earn from rental properties. And your motives might be to work less, travel more, prepare for retirement, or just free up your time. And when done right, it is possible for assets like real estate to fully fund your lifestyle and more. So in this video, I'm going to break down the things you need to know before you can replace your 9-to-5 income with real estate. And by the end of this video, I guarantee that you'll be able to see a clear pathway that you could follow to replace your 9-to-5 with rental properties. By the way, I'm Sam Kwok, one half of the Kwok brothers. My brother and I together have done over $5 million in real estate investing transactions. In the beginning of our career, we went from 0 to 75 rental units in just 1 year, and we documented the process in this very book by the same name. So as you can imagine, real estate investing is our bread and butter. Oh, and stick around to the very end of this video as my brother and I have a free gift for you that could help you in your journey of investing in real estate. So with that said, let's dive right in. Now, before we get to the official steps, there's a critical first piece that you have to understand. This alone will level up your investing journey in a massive way. And that's simply expectation and commitment. You see, real estate investing is not for the faint of heart. It's one of the most challenging things that anyone can undertake. You might have seen or heard an advertisement or even on social media that suggests that you can make millions of dollars in real estate easy. While yes, it's possible to make that kind of money in real estate, well, easy? That depends on your past experience, knowledge, and business acumen. In fact, it took us nearly 3 years of trials and error, failing and failing again, to get to a point where we built a solid foundation and traction to hit the 75 rentals in just 1 year. So I don't want to mislead you thinking that after this video, you're going to be some kind of multimillionaire. So instead of committing to an arbitrary deadline of saying, I want to make X dollar by X date, a more sustainable commitment would be to say, I am becoming the best student of real estate investing you could ever be. So instead of committing to a result goal, commit to a process goal of growing and learning. Now, I know that might sound a little woo-woo for some of you, but the truth is, longevity beats excitement. Meaning, staying in the game is winning the game. So let's go and dive into the actual first step of what you need to know to replace your 9-to-5 with rental properties. The first step is to learn the art and science of deal sourcing. Now, this is arguably the most sought after skill right now in real estate investing. In any market, it's going to be competitive. So if you are able to create a unique process for finding potential deals over and over again that isn't available to others, you are going to have an edge. So here's one framework that I would use to help you kind of think creatively when it comes to finding deals, and that is calling for rent signs. You ever drive down a street and you see one of those handwritten for rent signs in front of a property? Well, next time you see one, calling it will likely lead you directly to the property owner. So what you do is you call the number and simply ask if they would be interested in selling instead of renting it. And the reason why this works, especially if the landlord had the property listed for several months, it's likely that the landlord is probably in some kind of a panic since the property has been vacant for a while. And what I typically find is that a lot of these for rent signs that are handwritten aren't being managed by our professional managers, and they're likely being managed by the owner themselves. While there isn't a science or data to back this up, but what I notice when I deal with a seller is that a lot of times they manage the property on their own and they fall into exhaustion, and that's one of the reasons why they want to sell in the first place. And from my experience, I usually call about 25 signs until I get one yes. So it's definitely a numbers game, but it works. Step number 2 is learn the science of analyzing a deal. There's a saying that the money is made on the buy, not on the sale. If you're not clear as to how you're making the cash flow from the rental property, then you shouldn't be doing the deal. But more importantly, if you can't explain to me all the ways that you could lose your money in the deal, then you're already screwed. Because at the end of the day, what ends up really hurting you is that you sell yourself and you want to believe that the deal is profitable when it's not. So what ends up happening is that you get blinded by emotion and attachment to the deal that you can't clearly see the numbers screaming to stay away. And so instead of taking a rational, non-emotional process at looking at a deal, your excitement might override any serious analysis of that property. And so sadly, I think this is the number one reason why most beginners mess up, and it ultimately takes them out of the game completely. Step number 3, and that is to learn the art and science of owner financing. You see, one of the biggest limiting barrier is your ability to get financing. Unless you're paying cash for every single property that you buy, financing is going to be a challenge. And typically, most lenders allow you to have up to 8 or 9 mortgages at a time, according to the Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac guidelines. So most investors that rely on traditional financing are stuck at the 8 to 9 mortgage count and prevents them from scaling. So to get around this barrier, owner financing could help you scale without those barriers. Now, for those that aren't familiar with owner financing is a concept where you make monthly payments to the seller. In exchange, the seller gives you the ownership right to their property. So essentially, the seller becomes the bank. And what benefits you is that there's typically no loan application and has little to no impact on your credit report, ultimately not impacting the 8 to 9 count that I talked about earlier. So it completely bypasses the need for bank financing altogether. In fact, most of our real estate portfolio was built on using owner financing. We usually resort to bank financing as the second option. Step number 4 is learn to raise money. Now, I gotta say, this has been the single thing that allowed my brother and I to scale very quickly next to owner financing. Now, instead of saving up for a down payment, one property at a time, and saving again for the next, raising capital allows you to partner with other investors and invest in a much larger deal quickly. Because if you're just waiting to save and save and save, you're gonna end up spending a lot of time, perhaps the rest of your life, just waiting. So instead, leverage OPM, other people's money. And the benefit of that is not only the speed, but scale of economy. You see, when you compare saving up for a down payment on a single family housing versus raising capital for a larger down payment on a 30-unit apartment, let's just say, a vacancy on a single family house wipes out your entire income, while it's unlikely that you'll have the same vacancy problem that leads to erasing your entire income on the 30-unit apartment building. So with economy of scale, you often see less risk and bigger magnitude income faster. Plus, you'll likely hit your cash flow goal faster this way than saving and waiting. In fact, one of our students in our Accelerated Real Estate Academy ended up buying one property that the cash flow could completely replace their job income. Now, is that always typical? No, but is it possible? Yes. But it did involve raising capital and money in the process. Step number 5 is learn to assemble the right team, particularly your property managers. Yes, you'll need attorneys, bookkeepers, insurance brokers, and a good title company. But the one team member that you really need to be picky about is your property manager. I've seen really profitable deals turn into a nightmare really fast because of poor property management. So I'm gonna give you my 3 quick shortcuts of finding a great property manager right now. Number 1 is always meet and interview the property manager in person. See how they treat their fellow employees or coworkers. If you see cynical attitude and lack of respect in the office, it's likely that they're treating your tenants the same way. So you may want to avoid that property manager in the office altogether. Number 2 is always ask for client references. Talk to other investors who are using this property manager. Are they satisfied? Are they not? Are they on time with reports? How good are they with maintenance? And if the property manager is wary about letting you talk to other clients, yeah, that could be a yellow flag and I would probably stay away. Number 3 is drive by the properties that they manage. Look how well it's maintained even from the outside. If it looks messy and not really well kept, then that's your answer to stay away. And a bonus tip, if you do manage to run into a tenant there, talk to them. Ask how they're being treated by the management. Are they nice? Are they polite? Are the repairs being done on time? That's how you can get really honest answers. So that's been my 5 steps of what you need to know if you want to replace your 9-to-5 income with rental properties. Now, I did promise the gift at the beginning of this video, and that gift is a free complete course on real estate. It's called REI Cashflow. In this free course, we'll teach you about owner financing, raising capital, how to find deals, and much more. So if you want access, the link to the free sign up is in the video description down below. Let's just say that's my way of saying thank you for sticking around. So if you like this video, then consider subscribing and tell us what other content you would like to see from us in the comments. Take care.